The CoinWeek Podcast is brought to you by PCGS. Join PCGS at the IMEX in Nashville for on-site authentication and grading of your rare coins. PCGS will also take home your banknote submissions. Meet the expert Steve Feltner on Friday, October 27th from 10:30 to 12:30. For more information, visit www.pcgs.com. Today on the CoinWeek Podcast, I'm joined by former ANA presidents Colonel Steve Ellsworth and Gary Adkins. Steve and Gary have joined together to launch a brand new coin show in Nashville, Tennessee. In this episode, we'll talk about the show, why Nashville's a great city for coins, and what collectors should expect when they attend. Gary, Steve, and I will talk about golf balls, guitars, cornholes, and more next on the CoinWeek Podcast. Hi, everybody. I'm CoinWeek editor Charles Morgan, and this week on the CoinWeek Podcast, I'm here with former ANA presidents Colonel Steve and Ellsworth and Gary Adkins, and we are on the eve of the inaugural International Money Expo, otherwise known as IMEX, which is going to take place from October 25th to October 29th in beautiful Nashville, Tennessee, which I think is where, Steve, that's where you live now, right? Nashville?
Correct.
And so it's going to be an exciting venue. It's already sold out for dealers. It takes place in the heart of downtown Nashville, near the Country Music Hall of Fame, and one of my favorite spots whenever I visit town, the Palm Restaurant, of which I'm a member. So I wanted to sit with Steve and Gary and talk about not only this show, which I'm sure they have a lot to say, but also about the importance of coin conventions and how they're drawing from their extensive experience as table holders and individuals responsible for putting on some of the biggest coin shows in the hobby, and how they're marshaling that knowledge to this new show, and why you probably want to attend and stay on the lookout for this show in the coming years. So Steve and Gary, thanks for joining me.
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity.
So how did the IMEX come about?
Colonel Ellsworth has worked on sales tax exemption in Nashville and in Tennessee for about 3 years. Took him, and much of his own money devoted to that. Finally got an exemption. I was saying that one of the stipulations that the governor asked Steve to do was to bring a coin convention to Nashville. And so that's what Steve went about doing. He consulted a few companies that he thought might be interested in doing that. And when he got little response from them, he decided to, hey, I'm going to take this on myself. I'm going to put on a coin show. Undertook the task, which is formidable to say the least. So anyway, that heading down the road, he realized that it was a great deal of work, a massive amount of work, and so he asked me to join the project, and that's what I wanted to make too. At the beginning, you said that we were sold out. The convention was sold out. It is not. So I just wanted to correct that.
There's still rooms at the hotels for attendees from the reserve room. So I didn't understand that.
Right. I thought you were speaking of the tables. We have tables available, and there should be a few rooms left at the hotel blocks that we have.
So Steve, why Nashville and why now?
Well, one of the big things that Gary mentioned was the sales tax, and you really can't hold a major convention in the city that has taxes on coins and currency and bullion, gold and silver, and have it very successful, because like Tennessee does not have a income tax, and so their sales tax is 9.5%. Well, the margins that most dealers work on, they don't have that kind of margin that they can support that kind of taxing. So the first step was to get the tax removed off of the of coins, currency, and bullion, which took about 3 years. It was a lot of hard work, a lot of testifying, and so forth. And one of the things that we pushed for through all our testimonies in the House and the Senate was that we would like to have a major convention in Nashville because it is a destination city. People want to go to Nashville. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of cities that are not necessarily, they're good cities to hold conventions in, but they're not destination cities where you take the whole family. So that's what we were up against. And so the problem we have, because it's so popular, is that the convention centers and the hotels are booked solid for 5 years. And so it's difficult to get a time and a location to get it set up. So anyway, that's why we picked Nashville, and that's why I thought it'd be good.
So what's been the reaction from your fellow dealers about the idea of starting this show in October, putting their trust in you two, which I'm sure, there are some characters in this industry that could be a good or a bad thing. But what was the reaction in the dealer community for one more show on their calendar?
Well, we've had great reaction from the dealers. All the major dealers are excited. Plus, if their staffs and their families, everybody says, "Gee, Nashville, we'd love to go to Nashville." And by the way, we'd like to have a coin show while we're there. So, they're excited about it, and we are too. And so, anyway, Gary, Gary's done a great job with some of the major dealers. He's explained what's going on, and so I think we're doing really well with them. We could use a few more smaller dealers, some local dealers, and that we were hoping to get, so that we have a wide variety. Right now, all the major dealers are coming, all the major auction houses, and all 100% of the grading services that are coming. I think there might be one that isn't coming, but I know that BCGS, NGC, CAC is the first time they'll be taking submissions, and IMEX, they're all going to be here. So pretty much we got it covered on that end of it.
Yeah, and keep in mind that Nashville is somewhat centrally located. The weather in October is ideal. You're looking at the 60s for temps in Nashville. And another important factor is Nashville is within 650 miles of 50% of the population of the United States. Think about that for a moment. The vast array of people within 650 miles, 50% of the population in the United States is within 650 miles, which is drivable. I mean, a lot of people are going to probably drive to the show, but also flying is easy. We've got a new $2 billion renovation that's been taking place at the airport. So it's a huge international airport now. The city is very dynamic. There's a lot of growth in the city, a lot of new buildings going up, very clean, very safe. I think that's a real important factor to anybody that's thinking about attending a coin convention these days. Is it a safe environment? And I think you can't ask for a nicer place than Nashville. It's a very safe and a very clean city, easy to get around, and a ton of things to do other than just coming down to Nashville and going to the honky tonks. There's a lot of sightseeing things that are available nearby, and people really enjoy the venue. And so we're looking forward to a great show.
So what do you want collectors or dealers to experience or see when they walk through those doors? I mean, what's going to make this show succeed and stand out? I mean, I get the fact that Nashville is a vibrant city, and I fully agree with you there. I think there's a vibrant collecting community, and people are really passionate about American history that live in this part of the country. Texas is a huge collecting state, and that's just down the road from Nashville and through Arkansas. You got that central location, I think, is key. I mean, you're driving distance from me here in Central Virginia, and you're driving distance from Chicago, and you're driving distance from pretty much all these west or east of the Rocky locations. So what do you want people to think that the IMEX show is really going to be about, that maybe they're not going to get at Central States or at any of these other great shows? Is there going to be something specific in your mind that you're going to build around, a concept that you're going to build around with this show?
Well, I think what Steve and I are looking for is the wow factor. Typically coin conventions have been deja vu, kind of Groundhog Day. You walk in, it's the same old, same old. So we want to create the wow factor. I think that's an important aspect of it. Especially if you're a new collector or you're thinking about investing in bullion or whatever, and you come to a coin show, you want to walk in that show and say, "Wow, this is going to be a great experience." And that's what we want to create as an experience for the collectors that are there as well as the dealers. We also want to make it a fun event. So we're trying to draw in families and create a lot of fun activities at the show. So IMEX is fortunate enough to have Steve Forbes attending our convention on Friday. Steve is the editor-in-chief of Forbes magazine, very well-respected financial expert. Steve will be there at our opening ceremonies. He'll be there for a book signing of his new book called Inflation, which is obviously very timely and important. So we'll have those books available there. And then we'll have a reception for Steve on Friday evening. He'll be spending the day at the convention, walking around, meeting people, and be in attendance. That's a great thing that nobody else has done that. We had a prime for conventions.
And Steve, if people don't know, he's involved in the Museum of American Finance too, isn't he? So he has a long-standing interest in monetary topics.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's a hard money advocate, and another thing he's past couple of years put out a video. It's called "In Money We Trust." In Money We Trust, and I think if you look that up on Google or YouTube or something, you'll get a really great video because it traces the history of money and its usage and development of money and so on from ancient times to the current day and the troubles that we have.
Yeah, we've got. It's interesting that he'll be there. We're also having a special 2023 Eagle with a special label on it with Steve Forbes that he signed, and we'll have those available at the show. And I'm sure there'll be a sellout, and there'll probably be one of those deals where you buy one, and by the end of the show, it's going to be worth multiples of what you just paid. We have we've got a pretty strong, a very good mailing list that we're mailing that we've got all the Tennessee attendees for all the shows in Tennessee, and we will be mailing out postcards to all of them, and they'll receive a special program too, a special coin at the same time. So we got a lot of great promotions going on. We'll have billboards all over the city, which is unusual for a coin convention. But we're making this more than just a coin convention. We want to make this an event, and it's very dealer-oriented and public-oriented. The public is going to come in just on 2 days, Friday and Saturday, and the dealers are going to be operating on Thursday and Sunday in addition to Friday and Saturday. So dealers always complain that they've got too little time to do their business between each other, so we're giving them 2 full days to do that. We also, on Wednesday, we're having a golf tournament, which will be kind of a lot of fun and a lot of laughs and yucks and so forth. It should be pretty good. We're working with the Nashville Parks Department, setting up a really nice golf event for them, too.
One of the things that we're doing to kind of add some fun to the show, anybody that comes to the show and pays the $10 admission fee will be entered into a drawing for an electric guitar. We're giving away electric guitars on Friday afternoon and Saturday afternoon, not just the guitar, but the amplifier, the whole works, so that somebody will be able to take it home and start playing right away. So that'll be fun for the guests that come to the show and give them an opportunity to win a guitar. We're also giving away a little miniature silver guitar every hour, so that they'll be in that drawing as well. Doing things like that to make it a lot more fun. Probably most of your viewers have heard of the game cornhole, Well, we've got our own version of that. It's called Coin Hole, and we've got some boards that are painted up with coins and currency on them, bean bags the same way, and we'll have a little area set up for people to come to the show if they want to toss the bean bags, and if they get them in the hole, they'll get a little prize, and they'll have lots of fun doing it. So just things of that nature that are out of the norm for a coin convention.
So obviously these events sort of add to the kind of the fun and the spectacle of it. But I think one of the things that, as fellow, I guess, as professional numismatists, I think we all kind of understand that there's with the growing usage of the internet for commerce in the coin hobby and auctions going online, that there is a major role I think conventions play in the hobby and the way that we are able to get together and communicate with each other and share camaraderie and experiences and learn from things. I mean, I think all of us remember like certain coin conventions that really stood out during our careers or our lives. And so it's part of the reason that you want to start this new show is to sort of reignite that excitement and that sense that the coin conventions are a key part of the hobby.
Yeah, it's obvious that coin conventions play a key role. Steve and I have both been doing coin conventions for 50 years. And so we understand what collectors want to do and what they want to accomplish when they come to a coin show. Same thing with dealers. And I think it's the camaraderie is the important factor that you're missing when you're sitting at home online, just buying coins and selling coins online. There's no real fun in that, in my way. So I think it's important for people to get out, meet each other, meet other collectors, meet new dealers, enjoy the time that they have together. That's a key point in there. And we're missing that. We're missing that now in some of these online venues and some of these more, a lot of it obviously is directed at younger people who enjoy that type of thing. But I think the traditional collector, the traditional dealer still enjoys up at a coin convention, attending a coin convention, meeting lots of people, seeing lots of things. And, I'm old school, so I'm not really an online shopper. I want to be able to touch and feel and see what I'm buying rather than wait till the package arrives on my front door and hope that somebody doesn't steal it off the front porch.
Well, the term "the history in your hand" is really, I think, very important. And of course, you're talking to two gray-haired guys, but there's nothing beats holding that coin in the hand. Even though I buy a lot of stuff online and through auctions and so forth, but I like to look at the coin prior to me buying it. Also, just as important, I want to know who I'm buying it from. I want to know what the policies are and so forth. And is this person a real reputable guy? And not that I'm not saying that people online aren't reputable, they are, because all the major players are also online. They do both. But there's a real advantage to being able to work a deal and negotiate right there with the person who can make the decision, and also on the exact item that you're looking at. And Charles, I've been through a lot of coin photography courses, and I think that you can take pretty good pictures of coins, but also that you can enhance the coin a little bit so that some of the things for eye appeal and the wow factor, maybe when you're holding it in your hand is maybe not as strong. So I think there's an advantage to being able to buy a coin in person over just the internet, which the internet is wonderful, and I certainly use it a lot. But I just really like the excitement and the fun of actually negotiating and doing a coin in person with a person that I may have known before, or I may be a new acquaintance, and I say, "Oh, you're the guy that goes by X number or whatever online," and I like to meet that guy. And of course, that helps the business relationship between both parties, I think. So there's a plus. Plus, the other thing is that we want to make it so it's a fun experience. And sometimes the coin conventions for some dealers is just work, and at the end of the thing, they're just totally exhausted. We're trying to make this so we have some decent events going on at the same time, and for the public and dealers as well. So it's going to be a little bit different.
Well, for me, I think attending conventions it's the element of surprise and discovery too. I mean, you don't necessarily, you can go there with a game plan. I'm going to get that Sheldon 149 or something, but you don't necessarily know when you go up to that table what someone's going to have that maybe is going to be a lot nicer than the thing you have in your collection, or something you've never seen before, and then all of a sudden, you're not buying what you thought you were going to buy, and you can't really do that unless you're walking the bourse and looking at tables and talking to people and building relationships. So maybe Steve, you pull out something from behind that you just bought that you haven't really prepared to sell yet, but you got that customer that you're willing to sell it to, and you don't want to wait for that coin might not make it back to get on a Butternut website. It might be sold before it ever gets photographed. And that's part of the magic of coin shows. And that's also why it's important to have a venue for dealers to do business before the show, so that they can get the right material in the right hands, so it's represented to the right clients.
Well, Charles, when you mentioned that, Gary's a master of the quick sale. You should, Gary, what is it that your motto is on that?
Well, I take the Harlan White motto. Harlan used to say, if you buy something in the morning and you sell it right away, you sold it too cheap. And if you have it, you still have it at the end of the day, you paid too much. So that was philosophy. That kind of applies to the way I like to do business. But anyway, it's going to be a great event. There's going to be a lot of fun, and just, making it out to a convention like this is so much, as you see and meet people that you are in touch with all the time, and you meet great friends, you make great friends. We're getting up into the years now where we're losing a lot of our friends, and that's sad. But making it to a convention like this is always a lot of fun. And I think that we've got it planned and opportunities here so that we can create that. It's a little more redacted show from what we're normally used to, but I think what it does is it jams everything into a jam-packed 4 days of a lot of fun. And I think that's what we're trying to accomplish here, and make this a great event. It'll be wonderful.
So we've talked about Nashville. We've talked about the importance of coin shows. We've talked about the location in the general terms of how it correlates to other major attractions. But one thing we actually haven't talked about, and I'm surprised I didn't think of this earlier, is the actual venue itself. You guys picked a pretty incredible venue for the show. So tell me how that came about, and tell people what the venue is and why it's a must-see place.
Well, the Music City Center is right in the middle of downtown. The Bridgestone Arena is where where a lot of the performers go to perform there. And that borders, their front door is on Broadway, which is 72. We call them honky tonks, which are food and bar places, and there's no cover charge and there's no minimum drinks, so you can literally go to as many of those as you have time for. And the music there is the worst music you'll hear is better than anywhere else in the country, because all of these people that are there in those honky tonks are trying to be the warm-up person for one of the major events at the Bridgestone Arena. And that's where, on Honky Tonk Row, we call it, Music Row, or Broadway, and the locals call it Nash Vegas because it's just crazy, but it doesn't have the sleaze. So it's just really fun. And that's where even Taylor Swift started now. And then she went to the Bridgestone, but now she's so big that she has to rent football stadiums, and they sell those out for multiple concerts. And she just left here just recently. But like Garth Brooks and so forth, a lot of them still use the Bridgestone Arena where the hockey team is, because it's a wonderful venue. And our facility is next across the street from the Bridgestone. So it's the largest building in downtown Nashville. I mean, it's probably 400 or 500,000 square feet of exhibit space in downtown Nashville. We have 1/4 of that for our venue and the meeting rooms and so forth. But next to just south of the Music City Center is the Music Country Hall of Fame. So that, you could go out there on a break to take a break off the Bourse floor and go through that. And of course, then in the evenings, you only have to only a block and a half from Broadway, which are just hundreds of food places and so forth to eat. It's just a fun town to be in there. But the Music City Center is really a world-class convention center, one of the nicest in the country.
I mean, it's architecturally, it's really beautiful.
It's pretty amazing. I think it's probably the nicest convention center I've ever been in. I think when people get there and they see the convention center, they'll agree. It is fantastic. So,
well, I guess you got about a month left to get everything done. I'm sure you two are probably working 7 days a week at this point to get this wrapped up. So any sort of like last comments or words on this show? And is there's definitely going to be one next year, I'd imagine. Are you already starting the planning on that?
We are.
Again, scheduling is a problem, and we're working on that, and we hope to have something nailed down within the next week or so.
The other thing I would like to mention is that, PCGS is our official grading service for the convention. They'll be grading on site. We also have NGC will be there, and they'll be accepting submissions. CAC will be there. This will be the first time they've ever accepted submissions at a coin convention, and they're planning on having grading sets there on display as well. We'll have Annex there. Legend is our official auctioneer, and they're putting on a fantastic auction. I'm not sure if you still got time or not, but you might contact them if you have consignments for them. So they'll be putting on a great auction. And we're doing a lot of things like I said, to make this a phenomenal event.
Well, I wish you guys the best of luck with this. There'll be links to the IMEX website in the video description and on the site. And, we'll see you in Nashville, I guess.
Sounds great. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you today.
Thanks, Charles. You're a great American. Appreciate it.
And also, we're still on, Charles. I wanted to say thank you for providing your great service to the ANA as a board member. I think you were a great board member, and that added a lot to the organization.
Well, thank you for that. I take that to heart. All right, gentlemen, you guys have a great rest of your week, a good weekend. I hope you get some rest before all the people show up. You got a big party planned in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, take care. If you like this podcast, please share it with your friends. Remember, you can download every episode of the CoinWeek Podcast for free from the iTunes Store. Stream it online on our YouTube channel or on CoinWeek.com. For CoinWeek, I'm editor Charles Morgan, and until next time, happy collecting.